Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of CNC Explain It All. I'm your girl C1.
And I'm C2.
Yes, and as always, we have to start with our comfits. So today, in honor of some of the things that we'll be talking about, I'm wearing my Is Her, Been Her, Still Her shirt, which is about Asia Wilson, one, if not the current number one NBA or WNBA player in the United States right now. If you don't know about her, learn about her. But this is one of my favorite shirts because it also can relate to myself as well. So that's my comfort for today. What you got, C2?
Today I am wearing a tried and true because I know this has been another one of our episodes, but I am in my showgirl era shirt and it aligns really well with one of the topics that I'm going to deep explore today.
Absolutely. So, what is our episode today? We're doing another dose of some emergency, and we all could use some emergency every now and then. So, we're just going to talk about a couple of topics that are going on in the world right now, from pop culture to sports, whatever it may be on our mind. That's what we're talking about. So, I'll go ahead and let C2 kick it off.
Awesome. So we're going to start off in the realm for our book girlies. And I know I've talked about Abby Jimenez a couple of times over the course of our podcast era, but we're going to dive in a little bit deeper today because Girlfriend just released a new book and I'm here to talk about it. So this is your spoiler alert because there are odds that I am going to bring up points in the plot that you are not ready for. So skip forward or press pause because I am just going to let it go. So, The Night We Met. I've been looking forward to this book for so long. She started a brand new series a year ago this spring, and we're thinking it's going to be a three-book series, could be more, but she's a stereotypical three-book girly. So, The Night We Met is just a great blend of her signature humor, but also her deep emotional connect. We all know Abby is so good at balancing out real character identities in her books and not just keeping it surface level. And within this one, we learned a lot about the life of individuals who are balancing that sense of realism where not everything is sunshine and rainbows. And there are people who have to take care of their parents who made some bad choices in their life. There are people who are currently making bad choices in their life on the realms of alcoholism, their anxieties, some OCD wrapped in. And sometimes we're taking things on at the right person, wrong time.
Yeah. True life. True life.
Real life. Ugh. And, that depth is where some people loved the book and some people were like, this is not my favorite that she's ever written. And I want to throw fists, guys. I want to throw fists. So, for my C1 girly, since I know that you aren't as deep into the Abbey world as I am, just some exploration here into the plot. So the story explores timing, personal growth, and the idea that love isn't always enough on its own. So we're thinking about right moment, wrong person, slash right person, wrong moment here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything starts off with the night they met. They are at a concert. Of course, they're at a concert.
Yeah.
And they meet up with this, when I say they, it's this group of four guys and a group of four girls. They meet each other at the concert. Some of the guys and girls are already friends. So they're like, oh, let's go meet our friends. And one of the girls needs a ride home. And in that moment, there were two guys that could give her a ride home. And it sounds so stereotypical, but the way that it's written is just like, it's smooth. It works out really nicely. But one of them is like a bodybuilder, health craze guy, pretty boy, smooth talker. And the other one is he's a little bit more reserved. He's had some crazy things go on in his life lately that this other girl doesn't know anything about. And he's a pharmacist. He's really smart. So who'd she pick?
A
The
bodybuilder?
bodybuilder. Yeah,
That's
the bodybuilder. So as the book pans out, Larissa is the main character, and the bodybuilder's name is Mike, but the pharmacist is Chris. And she really learns that like there's so much more depth to Chris as Mike's best friend, and her and Chris become really good friends. And they actually co-parent a dog together because Chris wants this dog, but he can't take care of the dog like the dog deserves to be cared for because he's a pharmacist and he's got a busy life. And Larissa, she handles tons of like crazy dead-end jobs just to make money to make ends meet for her and her mom. and
Yeah.
her dad made really bad choices in life. That's where that story comes into place. And so she's like, "Oh, well, I'll take care of your dog part-time." And they learn that they have so much in common and they spend a lot of time together, but they keep it very platonic. And then Mike gets wrapped up in alcoholism
Mhm.
and he lies to Larissa a lot to cover things up. And Chris doesn't want Larissa to have a bad experience with Mike. So he steps in for things that Mike should be doing and makes her think that Mike did them.
Mhm.
Whew, goodness gracious. And it's like the nice guy syndrome. And God, my heart goes out to the Chris's of the world.
There's a lot of Chris's in there. It's a lot of Chris's.
There are, and we don't get to
Yeah.
see all of them because they stay out of the spotlight.
Yeah. Got
So, moral of the story is that Chris is a really good friend, and he's going to stand by Mike's side no matter what. I'm not
mm,
going to tell you how the book ends, but that is the plot in a nutshell. He will do anything to keep Larissa safe. He will do anything to keep her happy. And sometimes that means stepping in for Mike in ways that he probably shouldn't. And she continues to think that that's Mike that's doing that. So, to be continued.
that's true though.
But then we learned already that the next book that's going to be in the series is going to be from the perspective of Mike. So we'll learn a little bit more about his anxieties. He is the individual who I talked about on a previous Emergen-C who has
Oh,
OCD. So I'm really interested to learn a little bit more about that because that touches my heart. And Abby's just a goddess. So 5 stars.
like 5 stars would recommend.
Would recommend always.
Would recommend. Yeah, no, I mean, I always say I gotta be better at reading because I do like to read stories, right?
Mhm.
But I did look up some things about I like to go to a good old Reddit thread, and that's where I can get a lot of different perspectives and stuff. And I was reading about the plot, and honestly, it sounds pretty similar to like shows I watch, right? Like it's
Mhm.
in book form. So I was like,
Absolutely. It'd make a great show.
yeah, I was like, oh, this sounds like a plot that I've seen before. Um, and so that's always encouraging as well because I'm like, okay, well, obviously I'm very interested in that type of plot line, which is just like drama for no reason. And of course, co-parenting pets. I mean, I have several of those types of friendships. Not me personally. I'm not co-parenting any pets, but I know some friends who are co-parenting.
But you stand up and you're one of the first ones to volunteer to pet
Yeah.
sit.
I am. I am. I will pet sit. If there's a discrepancy between the parents, I will pet sit. But I do not have my own custody agreement with my pet. No, we are not in that space. Um, but no, I think I thought that the plot was pretty interesting when I was reading up on it. So it is it is funny to see like fans of Abby how with each book how everybody responds to it. But I guess it's just like with anything else at artistry, right? Like you may not like every single album that an artist puts out. You may not like every single movie that the actor puts out. But you're like, man, I still have faith. I still have faith. And like this one didn't hit me, but I know like it's gonna get me again, right?
Yeah, I honestly, my minor squirrel moment with that is that we're all Swifties at heart anymore, and we always think that there's something so much deeper hidden between the lines and books, just like there are in songs.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it's just the story.
Yep.
It's deep where it needs to be, but it's lighthearted. There's humor involved, and just enjoy the book. I have a hard time giving books anything less than 5 stars because if I read the whole thing, I probably enjoyed it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like you would just read it because you've started reading it and you might just finish it because you started it.
That's me in Pride and Prejudice right now. I'm so sorry, Jane Austen.
Like I also feel like that's just your personality. Like you're like, I started it, now I have to finish it.
Yes,
But I mean, you're giving everybody an equal shot. I think that's pretty good.
you're all equal
Well,
in my eyes, guys.
yeah. Up in the book talk. Book talk, everybody. Take it. Well, be excited on the next version of Emergen-C to hear about the next installment about Mike, uh, and eventually Chris, hopefully.
I hope so.
But when I was talking about the plots, like especially the whole co-parenting the pet thing, That was actually a plot on Grey's Anatomy. Like in the first couple seasons, Meredith and Derek had a dog that they adopted in their in their affair. And once his wife came back, they had to like separate, and they had dual custody of this dog,
I love
who
it.
became like a character in itself, which is pretty crazy. But that goes right into one of my topics about Grey's. Anybody who watches Grey's for the last 22 seasons knows that characters come and go, and some characters stay forever, like, oh gosh, Dr. Bailey and the Chief Weber. They've been on the show since the very beginning. 22 years is crazy to think about. But most recently, two main characters that have been on the show for quite a while are not returning. Now, I will admit I have not seen the most recent episodes of Grey's this season, so I'm like a season behind. Do not come at me, Grey's fans. I am still loyal to the T. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it. But if you haven't heard, spoiler alert, we're just spoiling all kinds of things out here.
All the spoiler alerts. Don't watch if you don't want
Yeah.
spoiler alerts.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description. So Kim Raver and Kevin McKidd are leaving after this season of Grey's Anatomy, so season 22. So if you haven't known, Kim Raver, she did quite a few shows before she got on Grey's. I think it was like 24 and like Lip Sync Jungle and some other stuff. She was on for 13 seasons total. She was on seasons 6 through 8, which I will argue are some of the best seasons of Grey's Anatomy outside of like the first season and the second season. 6 through 8 were like prime cast. Like the cast was like immaculate. And then they killed off a whole bunch of people after season 8. So then, so she left. Then she came back in season 15, and she did 15 to 22. Now there was a lot of controversy with Kim Raver because when she left and then came back, they ended up letting go of two other female actors, Jessica Capshaw, Steven Spielberg's stepdaughter. If anybody doesn't know, she's also in some other shows, and Sarah Drew, who is like a big Hallmark person right now. But they let go of those two actresses and brought back Kim Raver. So there was like a ton of like people being upset that they had to let go of those two actors who were probably more popular, and they brought back Kim Raver. She was probably cheaper, to be honest, at that time. And so there was a ton of controversy around that. And Kim Raver is not a fan favorite. She's sorry. I say her character Teddy is not a fan favorite. Let me speak to them in characters and not humans. Kim Raver is great. I've met her in person. She was a wonderful person. Her character is not a fan favorite. But with her leaving is also her counterpart, who when she joined the show, she was attached to him, and that's Kevin McKidd, who plays Owen Hunt. Now, he was on the show for 18 seasons straight. So season 5 through season 22. He came on and he like rescued Christina. She had like an ice pick in her chest, and that's how he like was introduced onto the show, like this big army vet with like bright red hair and just like rough, tough. And then he went blonde for like a couple seasons, and then he went back to red. It was weird. You know how they do. So he's also leaving, but their stories came in kind of together. So it's kind of interesting that they're leaving together, which I guess kind of makes sense. Both of these characters have not been, people have been wanting them to get off the show for a very long time. And people are kind of upset that like all these other characters have left that have been more popular, and these two have stayed. So I too am an Owen Hunt. He could have left like 8 seasons ago and I would have been fine. But I mean, he lasted quite a while. But I mean, it's just because of how long they've been on the show, 10 plus seasons, it's just crazy to see that those characters are leaving, because the show that you know and loved starts to slowly turn into something else, right? And you start to lose some of the magic, I think, sometimes. No pun intended for those people back in the early seasons of Grey's Anatomy. The interns were called the Magic Team because of all their initials. But you start to lose some of that like magic, and so it's interesting to see some longtime characters leave and not have many original characters still there. So even Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo, she pops in and out every so often. But it's like, okay, well, how many more seasons does Grey's have? Longest running drama on television, medical drama on television, surpassing everybody. Um, outside of Law and Order, they're like the next big show, the next longest running show on television, on network television. So it's like, it's kind of crazy to see that, but it happens, right? Like characters have to leave, I guess, in order for you to like build new storylines and bring in new characters. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes and see who leaves next. But those are some pretty big ones, even for the people who are not super big fans. So best of luck, Kevin McKidd. He also does Broadway. He's doing like all these other things. Kim Raver, I think, will just find another show somewhere. But best of luck to them. And my true Grey's heart hates to see original characters leave, but hopefully that means they open up some money so we can bring back like an Addison, or you know what I mean, like we can bring Addison back on the charts, or even Arizona Robbins, or some of these characters that have left that we haven't seen in a while. So yeah, that's for my Grays folks out there. 22 seasons, man. We've lost some friends, we've lost family. Like it is a wild life on the Shonda Land roller coaster. That is for absolutely freaking sure. Um, Flagship.
As a non-Grays watcher, sorry, so sorry, everyone. I, comparing to just some of my experiences, it's really hard to think about some of your favorite characters leaving throughout the entirety of a run for a show, especially those originals that you built those relationships with, or some that have just been around for 10,000 seasons, as it seems like
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy runs for. I mean, I know we talked about Addison in previous
Yeah.
episodes that we've had, and we recently also talked about New Girl when Coach left.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to have them come back again, but you do really worry that you're losing the plot. That's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
scary. And I can
Yeah.
only imagine a show that's run 22 seasons, when's it going to just awkwardly end with a bad decision that people made, you know?
Gosh, I hope not. I hope it's not one of the ones that like go out just like
Yeah, it doesn't deserve that. It has built so strong, but that's
yeah.
what happens to so many shows anymore. They're like, oh, this is a good choice. It's not a good choice.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I think with this one, I think they're gonna have to, they won't, but I think they should listen to the fans about how it should end.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of theories and a lot of storylines that have been laid that could be great endings. I just really hope they don't. I just really hope they don't mess it up. No, I think honestly, I'm guesstimating because they just got renewed for another season. I feel like they're going to go on for at least 25 years, at least.
Yeah.
Not an
Hopefully.
additional, sorry, not an additional 25 years, but like
Total.
little 25 years.
I mean, at this point, you've seen all the actors grow up. Even when they come back, you're like, oh my gosh, you look so different. It's been 10 years.
Exactly. It's been 10 freaking years. Like 22. Holy smokes.
It's pretty incredible.
The Kinderling when this show came out. And these people have been on this show for that many years. It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. It's pretty crazy, but we'll see. We'll see what news keeps coming out about Grays, but at least for the time being, we're safe for another year, guys. The trauma is here around for another year.
The trauma continues to bond.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, I think that Grey's Anatomy and just shows in general having different opportunities for how they continue forward, how they make amends and stay relevant, and just the ways that they make changes along the years. It's inspiring, and it's also the same across so many different genres of pop culture currently. We have so many people that are currently coming back that were big in 2006 and 2015, and crazy, we're in 2026 now. But they're able to create these journeys and these stories and these eras, if you will.
Yeah,
And no, I'm not going to talk about Taylor Swift, but I'm going to keep referencing her. But something extremely relevant is Coachella.
yeah,
And in this space, I have somebody who has quite the era story to tell that I'm going to talk about today. And then somebody else that's just involved in the eras because she's just special. And she has also been with Miss Taylor herself.
Yes.
So we'll talk about Sabrina first.
Hmm.
Holy cow. That's all I have to say. Somebody gave a theater child an unlimited budget and she took it and she ran with it because I think that that was the best, not just Coachella performance I've ever seen. And guys, I've never been to Coachella. We watch the clips over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but not just the greatest Coachella performance I've ever seen, but arguably one of the greatest performances I've ever seen.
Wow.
She, for those who haven't watched it, please go watch it from the opening clip to the closing clip because we know Sabrina likes a good pre-recorded clip. The actors, she didn't bring surprise
Oh,
guests on
yes.
stage.
Yeah.
Actors.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm sorry. Will Ferrell had a bit.
Yeah.
That's
She
incredible.
she did her big one. She did her big one.
She did. She did. And Sam Elliott, uh,
Yeah.
girl. So Sabrina opened with this
Samuel
really,
L. Jackson.
yes, Samuel. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
Being Samuel Jackson. Like he was just his tried and true self in his bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty
So
amazing.
I, she just is so, she's so graceful and she's so particular and she does a really great job with just bringing to life this showgirl persona
Yeah,
and the way that she lives it from like the 1920s, 50s, 80s. Like she just brings it all the way forward to 2026 and she does it in a way that is just beautiful. And with her full on moment that she had at Coachella, she stepped into it confidently. She was playful. She was edgy. Her persona was loud.
yeah,
And again, we're sitting here and we're saying spoiler alert. It's this whole thing's a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, the way she entered the stage with the Hollywood Walk of Fame,
yeah,
she made all the stars light up. It was beautiful. The way she exited by sitting in an old-fashioned convertible that
yeah,
put her up on some
yeah,
waterworks and spun around, and then she left in a car.
yeah, yeah,
Come on. It
yeah,
was amazing. I can only imagine how much it cost.
yeah,
So, with her, she's here, she's loud, she's incredible, and she's making her life just known. She has created this name for herself. I just want to give a moment though and say that I have never watched Sabrina perform thinking she's performing for attractiveness of like the male gaze.
yeah, yeah,
She's performing for the women. She is showing us how to be confident and just like be who we are and embrace it.
yeah,
Have we seen the house tour video? At any point in that music video, did we think this is for the guys?
yeah.
Nope, not at all. Not
Nope,
even kind of.
nope.
So I love me some Sabrina. I was absolutely in my Sabrina era yesterday. And the whole point also with the showgirl is that she came out in a feathery outfit at one point, and everyone's like, oh my God, Taylor's here. Guys,
Yeah,
Taylor wasn't there. Let Sabrina have her moment.
like Taylor was not going to be there.
Taylor is,
Like,
Taylor is planning a wedding,
yeah.
okay?
Also, Taylor would not be a headliner. Like, I
Right.
mean, she does
Maybe.
she does things for her friends. Let me know. She will pop out for a friend for like a tour here or there, but not Coachella.
Yes.
Coachella would be a situation. Her team is way too calculated for that not to be a bigger moment than like her being a guest star.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And she's busy. She's letting other people have the spotlight right now. She's
Which is
a busy woman, if you will.
yeah, no, good on Sabrina. Like I watched the clips and everything, uh, and of course, as with anything, when someone has like this big moment, you see all the other clips, like the other viral clips of when she was like on her porch in the backyard doing all her little bits and stuff. And it's like, it's so cool to see stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, like she was just a little girl with a dream, like just playing in her backyard with her friends, recording these videos. not knowing that she would be on the Coachella stage, you know, not that many years, right? Like she's not that old, and that wasn't that long ago that she was that little kid.
I
Um,
know. She's only like 26.
yeah, like that's crazy to think about. And kudos
Yeah.
uh, to her. And the other person I'm assuming you're going to talk about. I know you haven't told me who it is, but I assume I know who that other person is. I'll let you speak on it.
Bieber.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh, so Justin was a headliner last night,
Mhm.
and my bid on him is a little bit shorter because that's how he wants it to be.
Yeah.
So we all saw Justin Bieber's stripped down performance at the Grammys.
Hmm.
And there were so many people that did their deep dive that they normally do, and they're like, this is terrible. Like, why would he do something like this where it's just him creating his own beatbox and nobody else on stage?
Yeah.
Raw talent, guys. Raw talent.
Yeah.
Justin is in a new phase in his life. He
Yeah.
is he's a lot quieter where he is right now. He's married, he has a baby, a toddler,
Mhm.
and he's still enjoying the opportunities that he has in music, but he's not in that phase anymore. And his opportunity to headline Coachella, it it surprised a lot of people because he's not in that phase anymore. But here's the deal, Justin's been in the spotlight since 2006, 5. And he can come back and do whatever he wants whenever he wants to. So he did something so similar last night, and it was so stripped down and raw. And I was not surprised, but I was honestly surprised because I thought that he was going to come out with some crazy performance after doing what he did at the Grammys. But my dude walked out there. He had a bar stool table carrying his MacBook. He had a band this time, but he opened his MacBook. It was his YouTube page, and he had obviously pre-selected and gotten things organized, but he pulled up on the screen the original YouTube video of him singing With You by Chris Brown,
Hmm.
where he was found
Yeah.
and discovered by the world.
Yeah.
And he sang with his baby self like that was his backup singer, was his baby self. And he did that for so many of his older songs. And he even sang Beauty and a Beat. Like, we're talking like old school Justin. And he also brought up some of the videos of him on YouTube that went viral, where he was yelling at paparazzi or just any of the exchanges that he had that really just pushed him out of the spotlight for a while.
Yeah.
But then, of course, he came back and he ended his performance with Daisies, one of his most current number one hits. But it was just him. And it
Yeah.
was no theatrics. It was the complete opposite of Sabrina, but it
Yeah.
hit just as deep for the same reasons. It really showed his persona, what he stands for, and who he is in his current phase in life, but that he's still here with us. He knows that we grew up listening to him and that music is just as important to him as it is to us. And some of the zoom in opportunities on like his face and his expression, you could see him just reminiscing and what used to be and how that helped build who he is today. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah. I think it was actually this morning, maybe I don't know, maybe last night. I was watching that performance of him in his first YouTube video. And it was a little emotional because you're like, and you don't also understand. I think there's a lot of speculation around what Justin has gone through in his career,
Mhm.
because he was in the spotlight for so long, and just, I mean, we've learned. Um, Things have obviously come out about some people that were in his circle and all these different things, and so your mind goes all these different places, unfortunately. And I think the Grammys was like the first time people had seen what that impact may have made. There was also, and I'm not going to turn this into a gossip situation, but he got into a scuffle with Usher at that part. I forgot what party it was, Oscars or something, some
Mhm.
party that they were at, and they got into like physical altercation when Usher was one of the people that discovered him.
Right.
And so like you have to know that there's something else there. And so it completely makes sense that also Bieber was the highest paid artist so far to appear at Coachella. They paid him $10 million. Um, for him to get paid $10 million and go out and do as stripped of a performance as he did. Just shows you one, him taking back his power,
Mm-hmm.
right? At his own time, at his own pace, um, truly, hopefully healing himself in a sense. And we're kind of witnessing it, which is it's fascinating, but also sad. And I don't know, it's just like the performance like makes you feel it makes you feel in different ways, right? Like it's not
So many
yeah,
emotions.
you're like normally like a Sabrina, right? It's like a big celebration. Like a big celebration of this and that and this. And for Bieber, it felt more like a okay, like we're witnessing someone trying to get back to that place where they can
Mm-hmm.
celebrate, right? Where they
Absolutely.
can enjoy. And obviously he sold his catalog because he was going through some financial things. And so he also didn't have the rights to his music, which also plays into him needing YouTube. But it was just like so many layers to his performance that you're like, okay, yeah, it was just a laptop and a screen, but also there's so much like the story
Mm-hmm.
behind what that could be, right? And I obviously don't know this person, don't know this human. This is all based on what have I've seen and what he said in interviews, right?
Yeah.
And you just piece together the things. But good for him. I mean, like I said, I watched a couple clips and a couple videos, and it was just very like, oh man, like got me in the heart a little bit. Um, so good for both of them for doing amazing, and so many other artists who were out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Teddy Swims was out there. He had Vanessa Carlton do 1,000 miles, which I thought is, I love when people do that, like bring back some classics. So a lot of really good stuff. I would encourage anybody though, if you haven't seen Beachella, like that was the turn of an era in Coachella. It is the most searched live performance ever in Google history. Still
Go
remains.
find it.
Yes, go find it. Beachella is on Netflix. That's how big of a performance it was. Um, and she was only paid 8 million, right? Like, and that's what I mean by the Beebs getting 10. But yeah, Beachella is she is that is like some groundwork for an amazing performance that led to some of these artists that are coming out now. And that was like, oh gosh, 10 years ago, I feel like, which is crazy to think about. I don't know. It feels in my head like it was 3 years ago, but I'm sure it was not. I'm
It
sure,
most definitely wasn't, but that's okay.
I'm I'm sure it was like 10 years ago and I'm trying to like hide my age, but yeah, definitely, definitely some good stuff coming out of Coachella for sure. But kind of staying in that same music space, this is not going to take that long, but I love to give a shout out to artists that are like paving the way for themselves. Olivia Dean, I have talked about her before. Absolutely love this woman. Best new
Incredible.
artist of the year at the Grammys. Like she's just having an amazing year. So I just want to take some time to kind of shout out some other things that she's done in the last week that I thought were pretty cool because she has broken some of Adele's records. And when I say Adele's records, not Adele like baby Adele, we're talking Adele 30. Hello, the Hello era. So
Mhm.
yes, exactly. The hello that broke the internet. So Olivia Dean, the last week, she has topped the adult R&B chart, the adult pop chart, and the regular pop charts, all number one at the same time.
Amazing.
First UK artist to do that since Adele. And again, this is Adele Hello era, Adele's biggest era. She's also has the longest running um, album by a British artist, female artist, 7 weeks running, number one. Again, breaking Adele's record. She has broken US records with having multiple number ones for a British artist on the US charts at the same time. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, this is when I mentioned her. She knocked Taylor out of the number one spot in streaming, that was when Taylor first put out Fate of Ophelia, I believe. I think that was the song that was number one at the time. She knocked Taylor out of number one spot with Man I Need. Like this young lady is breaking all these records. Now she's been what I also love is when the artist has been out, but like we're just now discovering them, right? Like
Hmm.
she's been out there doing her thing in the UK, but she is starting to find fame in the US, and it's so cool to see because I think she is a true artist. She has such a beautiful voice, beautiful artistry. The writing is wonderful. Like, just she's amazing, and she deserves everything that she's getting right now. And so I had to shout her out because I'm a huge Adele fan. But I mean, Olivia Dean is doing her thing, and good for her. Good for her. Adele can't carry the whole UK on her back, so like, I'm glad she's got a counterpart to come out here and help with that. But I just had to give a little shout out to Olivia Dean. If you guys haven't listened to her album, listen to it. Even if you just listen to "Man I Need" the song, that's all you need. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
She is honestly, she's timeless. She's creating timeless music. When I see her perform, I it's almost as if I am putting myself in like the late 60s, the 70s. She's so classic in the way that
Yeah,
she feels and how she
absolutely.
presents herself. It
Gorgeous.
is it's clean, it's beautiful to hear, it's refreshing. And I mean, no hate on some of the current music outside of the things that I listen to. But some of the
Yeah.
things that have come out, I'm just like, am I getting old or is this actually not good? And having her just start to hit some of these charts and hearing her songs on the radio and having her hit my shuffles, I really enjoy her voice. I enjoy how beautiful the music is that she creates. There's songs that she has created that I didn't know were her because we all know Man I Need, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, this is amazing. I am absolutely a fan. I would love to see her live. I just think that she's someone that we need in this space right now, especially for our generation, younger generations, these young women that have somebody that they can continue to look up to
Yeah.
who does have that class and that show that you don't have to be this big, bright, loud persona to still be incredible.
To still be successful. Like,
Hmm.
so, yeah, I like that word classic. I think that that is truly what her persona and brand is like I just think of like speakeasy. Like I go down in a speakeasy and she'd be performing, right?
That
Like,
is exactly what I think as well.
yeah, like just mood is good, vibes are good. You just snapping your hands to some Olivia Dean, like that
Just
that
like the
is just,
classic dance.
yeah, exactly. Oh, man, I will jump on a table and a chair with the best of them on some of those early 2000s rap songs and hip hop songs and pop songs with the best of them. But I am also one who appreciates just like music that I can just sit on my patio and listen to it and still be just as moved
Hmm.
without needing to jump on the chair. Like, right? Like just it's just a different level of connection to the music. And I think she came at like the perfect time. She broke through what I think was becoming very saturated and has done amazing with that. And good for her. Congratulations to her.
I
I hope
agree.
I get to see her in person.
Same.
Yeah, yeah,
Soon.
soon. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So continuing to ride the idea of just wholesome and heartwarming, I want to bring up an iconic duo. If you don't
Mhm.
know them, go find them. But their names are Josh and Jace, and they are absolutely taking over social media. I have followed them for years without knowing where they'd be today,
Yeah.
and today they're in my home state. So it's really, really cool. For those of you who don't know them, they're two guys from the UK who originally blew up on TikTok when they had come over to the US to support some of their studies in college. And all they were doing was trying and reviewing American foods and drinks live. And I'm so sorry for what they went through because some of the things they tried, I was like, I don't even eat that. But they've taken it a step further in their adulthood now, and they have turned this into something much bigger. They spent a couple of weeks touring the entire state of Michigan this winter. I don't know why they chose winter, but they did, and winter in Michigan is yep,
Yeah,
it's that.
yeah.
So they started their journey on the West Coast. They traveled all the way up the West Coast, hitting different cities, restaurants. They went to small school, college sport games. They just really enjoyed their time. Once they got up to northern Michigan, they hopped up to the UP during like Snowmageddon. But they did it. And
Mm.
then they came all the way back around. And of course, they got to end their journey in Detroit, which was just really, really cool to see. I loved seeing their clips that they were posting about people they were meeting. They were getting shout outs. People were counting down the seconds until they hit their cities. And it was making the news in Michigan because their follower base is huge. They have
Mhm.
just built something special over the years. So now, them having the opportunity to come and do this, these people already watched them as it was, and they gained so many additional followers. People are wanting to go travel across the state to go try these places that they got to try and experience what they experienced. And it was just, it was magical. It was moving. They also, they quite unfortunately, they had a medical situation while they were here. They got to experience some great hospitality from that. And it was just a completely moving experience. But now taking it back to today, we actually got to experience Jace making a surprise visit at the Michigan Governors Conference last week. So, totally relevant with today.
Yeah.
He came out on stage and he got to talk about his visit, and he said something that was just really impactful, where he said that outside of the US, people typically are thinking about coming to visit California, New York,
Mhm.
Florida, because those are the big states that people know about and they know about the tourism and what people do there. And he's like, why don't people talk about Michigan? And of
Yeah.
course, that was his experience, but there's so many states like that that you just don't
Mm.
know until you know.
Yeah.
And he got to have a super casual one-on-one meeting, very TikTok appropriate with Governor Whitmer, which
Mhm.
was beautiful. And he even made the silly little comment of saying that when one word that describes Michigan to him is home, and she was like,
Mm.
"Do you know what home stands for Michiganders?" And if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But yes, he did say that he's going to come back this summer. Josh is going to stay home. He has a new baby, which is really adorable as well. But he's also going to do a 3-week visit to a very random state. He spun his wheel and he's going to Arkansas. So, Arkansas, he's coming your way. And then he's going to spend a Michigan summer back with us Michiganders to experience the beauty of this state when it is summertime in Michigan.
Yes, man. I had never heard of these individuals before, but I did do my research and I enjoyed a couple of, like I watched a couple of the videos and I enjoyed it. And I was like, okay, I'm surprised I've never heard of these guys. Um, but I love what he said about Michigan being one of those states that people don't talk about often, which is interesting because Michigan is shaped in such a fun way that you would think people would be like, I'm just curious with that mitten. What's going on in that mitten? Like, what's going on in that little hand
Yeah.
to land?
Well, I to
Yeah,
quote Governor Whitmer, because I didn't do my data research analysis on this, but she said, "Why don't people know more about Michigan? We have the largest coastline in the country."
I did not know that. I
It
was today
makes
years old.
sense.
I was
I
today years old when I learned
I
that.
was like Tuesday years old, but close.
You're just a little bit older than me, just a little bit. Yeah, I did not know that. Come on, Big Gretch. Um, yeah, I will tell you what, I love Michigan down. Now, winters are horrid. I will not. They're Michigan weather in the winter is horrid.
0 out of 10,
Um,
do not
zero out
recommend.
of 0 out of 10 do not recommend, and that's always the time I go home and visit. So it's like, um, but I truly do love Michigan. Like it, I just feel like it's one of those states you just experience every single season. I mean, it's got good food, it's got good people, it's got good history. Um, and so it's cool that they're getting it's being put on like the jumbotron for other people to see. Because I'm one of those weirdos who get excited when Michigan is mentioned in like a movie or something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my home state. Like no one ever talks about
Is
Michigan.
this about me?
Yeah. Uh, Speaking of Inside Out 2, if you guys have seen that, they thought she was from Minnesota, I think, and they kept saying that she was from Michigan. They're like, "You're from Michigan, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "No, I'm not." But no, I think that's cool. I think it's cool what they do. I think their platform is really cool. The things that they do, and then I think it's also cool that they're going to come to Pure Michigan and give Michigan some more love because I do think it's a really great state that has a lot to offer. Now, granted, I don't want people over flooding it and it becoming like a California or any of those
Mhm.
other states. Well, let's keep it real cute and demure. But but I do hope that they get a little bit more recognition. It deserves. The mitten deserves. It deserves. But speaking of Michigan, I don't know if anybody was watching TV the last couple of weeks, but I think Michigan brought home a natty.
Natty.
Yes, a natty. The men's NCAA basketball team brought home a natty for the first time since, if you want to give your Taylor Invisible String, 1989. Um, the first time since 1989, and I watched that here in Kansas City, and I immediately was like, Ann Arbor is going to be a flippin' mess in about five 5 minutes. It is about to explode in Ann Arbor, and I am sad that I'm not there. But also, I don't know if I'd be able to handle what's probably about to happen. I mean, C2 was there in Michigan at the time, so I'm sure that he probably heard, saw, witnessed any of the craziness that it was going down, especially as a U of M fan.
Yeah, guys, it was crazy in a respectful way because nothing got damaged as far as I know.
Yeah,
It wasn't reported. And I worked in Ann Arbor the next morning and I saw nothing crazy, no fires, no demolished buildings,
yeah,
no crazy leftover junk, trash, whatever. But guys, this was really big. This was a
yeah,
big deal for Ann Arbor and for U of M fans everywhere. Like we take those natties quite seriously around here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a big one, and it was pretty close. I mean, UConn has won for the men's team several of the last couple of years. I honestly think it's been between, what was the other school? I can't remember what the other school was. But UConn has been winning a majority of the last few years. And so it was a close game pretty much all the way up until the end.
Hmm.
And good for them. I mean, again, I did not go to U of M. I went to good old Eastern. The little cousin is what I like to say, the cousin to Michigan State and U of M. But I know sports are a real thing in the U of M area, and so it's really cool for, again, Michigan to be on the map. You know what I mean? And stuff outside of football. It was really cool for them to bring it back since 1989. Like that's such a huge accomplishment for that team and for that program. And
Hmm.
speaking of, I'm not just going to talk about the men's team, the women's team. Sorry, not the women's Michigan team. They did not get as far as they needed to, but in general, for the women's NCAA, UCLA won, and that's the first time they had won ever since
Amazing.
they've been in the NCAA. The first time ever. And I believe 90% of their team were all seniors. So I was just thinking of the joy as a senior going out with a natty championship under your belt, especially if you're looking to draft into the WNBA or wherever you're going after that. An accomplishment. Like you made it through everything. And
Hmm.
they were the first team to do that. And that coach had been there for several years, almost like 10 plus years, I think. And that was the first time that they won. And so it was really cool to see that. Now, I'm not going to lie, I went into that game as a South Carolina fan because they are also a very popular team. That program has also changed so much over the last couple of years. And they beat the women's UConn team, which is also one of the best teams in the women's NCAA programming. They won last year. So everybody thought they were going to win. They beat South Carolina last year in the final game. So the fact that these two teams were facing off and it wasn't the final, it was the final four and not the actual finals, made it one of the most watched games ever because everybody was like, well, who's going to win? And South Carolina ended up winning, which was amazing and crazy all at once. And so I was rooting for them against UCLA, but I did not realize UCLA had fire and a passion in them that was blew South Carolina out. It was embarrassing, to say the least. But they deserved it. They played hard, and it also makes me think about I'm glad I didn't go pro or like play college because man, like I love basketball and I love playing basketball, but these girls, these ladies, these women out here, they are doing some amazing things that I don't know if I could do. And I like all kudos to them. Kudos to them. Congratulations, ladies. And kind of going into like another big topic. I know we don't really talk about sports often on this on our podcast, guys, but I'm a big sports fan, and Court watches sports as well. We just don't talk about it as often.
Mm-hmm.
But the WNBA, if anybody has been following or has not been following or whatever the case is, it's been becoming more popular in the last couple of years just because of some of the players that have been coming from the college teams, like the Caitlin Clarks of the world, from Iowa, and Angel Reese from LSU, and that big rivalry, and them coming to the WNBA. It's become popular the last couple of years. But this year, they actually had to re-sign their contract, essentially their contract for the WNBA, what the players would be offered or what would be a part of their contracts. And so the negotiations have been going on since the beginning of this year, I believe, or maybe even mid last year. It's been going on for a very long time because it's been a long time since they've been able to sit at a table and negotiate what they deserve. Now, the women's team, I don't know if you guys pay attention to how much the NBA players get paid. Tens of hundreds of millions of dollars. The women's team, there was no player making $1 million a year. Just 1 million. I'm not talking LeBron James money. I'm talking about even a rookie going into the NBA was making more money than some of the veterans of the WNBA. So this negotiation was huge, right? So that's why it was taking so long. They were like, they're not taking little baby offers. They were trying not to give them money. WNBA revenue has gone up in the last few years, but the players' contracts were not changing. And so this was their chance to do it. And you know what? They came to an agreement, I think it was maybe a couple of weeks ago, and one small step forward, right? Like it's not going to change everything. They are not going to equate to the NBA players. I understand NBA makes a lot more, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of money that the WNBA does right now. But the WNBA is still a young sport. It's compared to the NBA. But so some quick things that I think are really cool about this contract. So it used to be a team could only have a salary cap of like 1.4 million, which means like all their players, all 12 players, their salaries could only equate to $1.4 million. That was it. Again, think about one player in the NBA, how much they're making. A full team could only make $1.4 million. So that went up to a cap of $7 million. So now they've got more space, right? And now they can actually offer max contracts of 1.4 million per player. The max contracts that they were offering were in $600,000, $700,000. Again, for these like players that are elite athletes. Now they can offer 1.4 million. And they actually just had the first players sign the first WNBA contract worth $1 million last week. That is crazy. And big 2026, the first $1 million contract is pretty crazy to think about. Also, they get 20% of the gross revenue, which they weren't getting before. They get the rookies. They were coming in at $70,000. So that's like a, for anybody who doesn't know comparison, that's like an ETL at Target, like an assistant manager, entry level. So an entry level manager at Target is making the same amount as a professional WNBA player. Just think about that.
That's crazy.
Um, Not that neither of them deserve it. I'm just comparison, right?
Comparisons.
So now the minimum that they'll get is $300,000 for a rookie coming in, which I think is awesome. They get enhanced child benefits because they're mothers, right? You know what I mean? Which the NBA doesn't deal with. So you've got enhanced benefits there. And then they're actually giving retired players back pay based on what they would have earned, rightfully so, in their time in the WNBA. So, like, the contract is amazing. Again, one small step forward, but I think it's really just a testament to when you're really fighting for what you deserve, right? It's not like they're asking for something that they didn't deserve. They're earning the revenue that the WNBA has, and they're not getting any of it. And so now they actually get to get some of it. And that actually coincides with free agency, which, if you guys don't know, that basically means that all these players don't have contracts. So now that all these teams have all this money that they can go to, it's creating craziness all over the place. Teams are being broken up, split up. It's wild the last couple of days. I've enjoyed watching every single day something new is happening and breaking news is going on. But it's really cool that the players are going to teams and they're getting paid their worth and they're able to get paid their worth. So um, it's really amazing to see. I'm excited because Detroit is going to get a team in 2027, I think. So now with this new contract, hopefully we get some really good players to come to Detroit, which would be cool. So it's just a lot of really great things that are coming from that. And one of the first things that happened when free agency started was Angel Reese from Chicago Sky, the second most popular WNBA player right now, probably. She got switched to another team, to Atlanta, and it was like this big thing. So it's just like there's a ton going on in the WNBA world. Next week is the draft with the college players coming off of the Natty. So it's just going to be wild day for women's sports. But it's really cool. Women's sports have come so far in honestly just the last 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
Right? Whether it's tennis, whether it's track, whether it's basketball, volleyball, whatever it is, they are getting the recognition that they deserve. And I have to get a shirt, but there's a shirt that says everyone watches women's sports. I need to get one of those shirts because truly it's amazing to see then those elite athletes get the recognition that they deserve and the pay that they deserve. So yeah, sorry. I get really excited about stuff like that.
It's
Again,
important.
one of my dreams was to be in the WNBA, but again, I recognized very, very early on, I was like, they want it more than I do. So I'm just gonna stay over here. But I'll watch and I'll support. So that's for sure.
I love that. I love all of it. And I think that just some of the major thoughts coming off of the WNBA conversation is show up,
Yeah.
right? Show up for your women's sports. As C1 said, they already weren't getting proportions of their revenue that they deserved in their contract. And that is a thing now. Watch them, go to the events, enjoy your time there, and it will continue to benefit those women who are putting in all of this hard work to be the best of the best, just like we watch with the men's sports.
Yeah.
My other thing is take your kids,
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
them that there are men's sports, there are women's sports, and they are all sports.
Yes.
It's so important. There's so many people that I see now that it just warms my heart where I know a few single moms, I know some moms of just little boys. I know like this entire world, and I'm seeing single moms show up with their kids for women's college sports, going to women's college softball games, going to women's college hockey games.
Hmm.
Just show up. Show your little boys that it's okay to go support women too.
Yeah. Oh my
That's a
gosh.
huge one. I love it. It warms my heart. I love seeing these contract negotiations pan out. And I cannot wait for Detroit to have their own WNBA team. I was just talking with my boyfriend a couple of days ago that Every single Detroit sport has grown in its following so much finally, since all the sport teams are together in downtown Detroit. And they
Yeah.
are building their new soccer stadium too, also in the city. So
Yeah.
every single sport is going to be right there. The more that we can continue to build on what those sports teams represent, the more people will continue to show up and the more we can continue to give back to the people who are doing this amazing work. So, I can
Yeah.
go on and on too.
I know. I mean, we might just have to have an episode just about that in general. Man.
Power.
Yes. Oh man, power. What a way. What a way. I mean, I feel like that's the perfect way to end our emergency, like on a powerful note. Like, guys, go out there, support the things that deserve the support, whether it's yourself, whether it's your local things going on, whether it's the big things going on. Like, it doesn't always have to be money. It could just be showing up, right? And volunteering or whatever it is, being a coach somewhere. It's
Mhm.
You can do it in so many different ways. But yeah, it's really cool. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a ton going on in the world. But there are also some really cool things happening that we can kind of lean into and hopefully take our minds away from some of the stuff that we can't necessarily control too much.
This month is going to be a special month, guys. We're doing two emergency episodes to
Yeah.
keep everyone in the loop on all things pop culture, sports, and the world because, as C1 said, there is so much good to celebrate, and it's all about mindset and perspective. We have some heavy things going on around our world, but if we can just focus in on some of the good, it's going to keep us all in a good space together.
Yes, absolutely. Well, until next time, guys, stay chaotic.
And stay comfy. Bye.
Bye.
I know there is more out there for me, more than the simple life of humanity, a place where all